Hello, welcome to another episode on Power BI. In this video, we are going to talk about two logical operators, OR versus AND. This video is meant for people who are new to Power BI, and for that reason, I'll be going through each step slowly and in detail. So first, let's go to the Microsoft documentation page and see the syntax and then try to implement it. So this is the documentation page. So it says OR checks whether one of the arguments is true to return true. The function returns false if both arguments are false. Here is the syntax OR and then the condition and the second condition. So it takes two parameters. It can support only two parameters, the first logical test and then the second logical test. And the return value is either true or false. Okay, that's how it works. So either one of the two conditions should be correct. If it is correct, then we get true. If both are false, then it gives us false. And now let's go to the AND function. It checks whether both arguments are true and returns true if both arguments are true, otherwise return false. Syntax, it takes two parameters here, logical test 1 and logical test 2. So in this case, it's different from OR. Here, both the conditions should be true. The first logical test should pass. The second logical test also should pass. If both are passes, then it returns a value true. And if both are false, if either one of this is false, then we still get false. So now let's try to implement this in a PBI and then see how does it differ from one another. So this is a sample data set which I'll be using for this exercise. So I have the name and the salary and also the expense. So the salary, you can see the range is somewhere between 0 to 100,000. And then you can see the expense ranges from 15,000 to approx 45,000, sorry, 55,000. So now let's take an example and see how we can use OR and AND function. So now let me create a new measure and then let me call this as OR function or example, okay? Or example equal to, or let's say salary is greater than 50,000. That's my first logical test. And expense is less than 20,000. Let's see what we get. So now if I bring this to the values here, I should get either true or false. You can see, right? So it's true. Okay, one of these conditions should satisfy. If one of this condition is true, we get true. You can see here salary is greater than 50,000. Yes, this passes. So it straight away gives true. Let's look at the second example. Okay, second row. Salary is not greater than 50,000. It's just 30,000. So this is false. Total expense, is it less than 20,000? No, it's 25,000. So both are false. And that's why we get false. If one of this condition is to be true, then we get true. If else, we get it as false. So that's how it function. Yeah, this particular OR function works. Okay. So now let's try with the AND function. AND example. And let's say salary is greater than 50,000. That's my first condition. And then expense is less than 20,000. Okay, same example, but I replaced or with in. Let's see what we get. So in this case, both the first and the second are parameter should give us true. If both this condition fulfills, then only we get true. Else it will throw us false. Hit enter, and now let me bring this to the values here. Now let's see. It gives false, right? Because the first condition passes is true, but the second one fails because the expense is not less than 20,000. It's 35,000. Now let's look at something which is true. Okay, this is true. Let's see. Salary is greater than 50,000. Yes, we have 60,000 here. So the first condition is true. And now let's look at the total expense is less than 20,000. Yes, here in this case, the total expense is just 15,000, which is less than 20,000. And both the condition is true, and hence we get true. Okay, so that's the main difference between OR function and AND function. So we can do the same thing in a different way, which is not very efficient. I can show that one as well with if condition. Okay, we can also use if, but this is not the ideal one. So if I can say, okay, salary is greater than 50,000, that's my first condition. Then if it is true, then again, I'll go to the second condition. If expense is less than 20,000, okay, this is my second condition. If this both are true, then give me true, okay? Else, give me false, okay? And then if the first condition itself fails, then I still want to get as a false. Now hit enter. You can see I'm getting the same result just like IND function. You can see I'm getting true when James is because James is where salary is greater than 50,000, yes, and expense is less than 50,000, yes, and I'm getting the same result. But this is not the efficient way to do, because when you have the built-in function, right, which can check whether it's true or false, I would prefer to use the AND instead of two multiple ifs, okay? And let me also show you something. Uh, let me copy this, okay? Let me copy this here, okay, and create a new measure. And let me call this as example 2. Okay, so basically I get either true or false here, right? Let me bring this one as well. It's a copy of this. So I'm getting only false or true. So how can I use this one? So I can use it with, again, with if statement. If this particular AND statement is equal to true, okay, then show it as good, okay, within quotes. Else, if it is false, then show it as bad, right? If I hit enter and bring this, okay, it's already there. So you can see I combined the AND with if statement. So if it is true, I can call this as good. If not, I can call this as bad. If I also, if it is good, I can bring some other columns here, or if it is bad, a different column, etc. So this is interchangeable. So okay, this is how you can club the AND function with if function. So you can also do the same thing with OR function. You can club or I can show you that one as well. So let's call this as, okay, I can make it faster. So let me copy this OR example. Okay, copy this here and then add a new measure. And let me call this as example 2. Okay, let me bring this to the values first and then show you. It's working. It's taking some time. Let's give it a second. Okay, it's here. Bring this to the values. Okay, so now let me modify this particular example and club it with if statement. If is equal to true, then let's say normal, okay, else abnormal, or let me call this as below average or something. Okay, that will be more meaningful. Okay, and then bracket close. Okay, so what does it? If one of this condition is equal to true, then give it as average, else show as below average. So this is how I can club the if with or. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so I'm checking if it is true. Give me average, yes, else below average. It's working as expected. So this is some of the ways how you can use or and function in Power BI along with if statement. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I try to make it simple. If you like this video, just give me a thumbs up so that it motivates me to keep doing new videos over and over again. Okay. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.